Welcome back. So today's video is going to be a Chanel unboxing. I'm very excited, but also a little bit nervous and also a bit in shock. I literally just picked up this bag a couple hours ago from the store and then went for lunch and then came home, and now I'm going to film this unboxing. I just really want to look at the bag. I don't think I've ever done an actual real live unboxing before, so please do bear with me. I do feel a little bit like whoa, so hopefully after I open the bag and it all makes sense, then I can kind of sit down and talk you through the features of the bag, why I purchased this bag, and most importantly I think the new in-store experience and what the bag or what purchasing the bag is like in 2022. Going to go into it. This is my new baby. I'm so excited. I purchased this bag in the New Bond Street store. The receipt comes in this like little envelope thing right here. I don't know if you can see, but there's a camellia in the front, and then in the back it just says the FSC kind of forest paper certification, so nothing too major there. And then and then inside is just all of the information. The box itself is actually quite heavy, so I'll just take the box out now. This is what it looks like. Oh, okay, I'm gonna take some pictures of it actually, be right back. Okay, I'm back. So this is the box that comes in. It is a rectangular black box. The feel of the box is quite matte, almost kind of has a rubbery texture to it. Tied up really nicely in a cute little ribbon. So I'm just going to undo the ribbon. I hope this angle makes sense. I just didn't really want to kind of hold it up because then I wouldn't really be seeing it, and I just really want to be able to see it firsthand. So hope this bird's eye kind of view is all right. I'm just going to undo the ribbon. Oh, okay. The flower comes off first, apparently. It's a really nice, sturdy feeling ribbon, which is great. And then there's the box. So it looks like this. And then I'm going to open it like this. Ooh. It's... this is the black tissue paper, and then it's got a little Chanel tape on it. Let me undo the tape. Okay. It's not like it's the tape that costs a lot of money, but I just really want to preserve it. Okay, amazing. So only a little hole. I think that I've done well. It's in the dust bag. Woo. Right here. And then just lift it out. And then underneath there's just two booklets. I'm guessing it's the receipt as well. Oh yeah, this is the, I've seen this in other unboxings. Oh, I'm so glad I got everything. So this is the kind of felt cloth, I believe, that you kind of stick your hand in to clean the bag. And this, I don't know what this is. It's in French. Let me find the English one. Okay. This is, oh yeah, like kind of like a care instructions, but this is actually digitized now, and I'll go into a little bit more of a detail later, but I'm glad that they actually gave me a physical copy as well. It's beautiful. Papers feels really nice, kind of like good thickness. And then this is the, I believe this is the Chanel kind of classic flap booklet that you get when you buy the classic flap. Yeah, there it is, like with all the hardware stuff. It's a nice kind of picture book, I think. It's not like as sturdy and fancy that I think it can be a coffee table book, but it's definitely a nice kind of piece of memorabilia, especially, for first-time bag purchasers like me. This is definitely something that I will cherish. It has so many cool like little drawings and parts of like how the bag was made and everything. So I'm gonna have a sift through this after. And then the rest of the box is just like this, but it's lined so nicely. It's got like kind of an accordion style wrapping in it. Okay, cool. So this is the bag, and I've already inspected it in store, so it should be fine, but it obviously comes in this dust bag. I keep saying obviously, and it's just because I've watched 5 billion YouTube videos on this, so I'll stop saying obviously, but it comes in a dust bag like this. So the timeless, I think it's what they call those classic flaps now, but the timeless style is the one that comes in this one. And I think the reissue also comes in a white dust bag like this with the traditional kind of quilts at the front. And then when you flip it open, oh, it just looks like this, and then it's wrapped like this when they kind of first give it to you, I guess. This didn't look like this when I was looking at it in the store. This is what it looks like. So the whole thing is kind of wrapped in a middle section of tissue paper, which is actually quite interesting because I think there's a new season bag that kind of looks like this. It's kind of white with a black stripe in the middle, so I wonder if that's kind of like the design inspiration behind that. But anyway, they also give you a felt cloth. This is just a regular kind of run-of-the-mill textile shop felt that you can get. It will protect kind of the top bit and then the clasp bit of the bag. This part as well. I'll show you. No. Oh, okay. Slightly bigger hole. I think I've done well. Okay, so then, oh wow, this is, I wonder if they like teach you a course on how to wrap the bags when you first join Chanel. But yeah, this is essentially one big piece, but then the chain was quite geniusly wrapped inside the tissue paper. I don't really know how they did that, but that was cool. Here she is. I am so excited. This is the medium classic flap bag in the caviar grained calfskin leather and the gold toned hardware. In terms of the size, crossbody, on the shoulder, and kind of single strapped as well, it was the perfect length for me. And the small I really loved, actually a little bit more crossbody, but then when I doubled it up to put on my shoulder, I think the size was just a little bit too short, like this way, lengthways, for it to look okay under my shoulder. And obviously I want it to be a bag that I can transition from day to night. So that's kind of the decision as to why I got this, because, you know, when I put it under the shoulder like this, it still lengthwise has a little bit of give either way, so it looks like it makes a bit more sense essentially. But this is my bag. So I know the clips look a little bit disjointed because it was still daytime when I was unboxing it, but then my dad called and then we got to chatting, and then now it's nighttime, so I'm sorry for the lighting change, but I've turned on every single like light possible in the room so that hopefully you can still see the bag. But I'm just so happy with it. I will go through the features of the bag first. I know that, you know, if you have been doing your Chanel research, this isn't news to you at all, but you know, this is what it looks like. I got it in the caviar leather, as I mentioned, with the gold toned hardware. This is a little bit less of like a yellow gold than I expected it to be, but it's not like a light champagne gold or anything. It is still quite gold. So it is a turn CC, as you can see here, and because it's quite new, it like doesn't really stay closed. Like this is kind of what the natural state would be. Like I would actually have to push it down quite a bit for it to actually close. And then it's got the kind of secret love letter pocket over here, which I've only really learned through YouTube. Like this wasn't something that, you know, was information that I just knew. And then it has this zipper, which I think is a little bit like comically normal looking. Like it just looks like a normal zipper pocket that you would get like when you buy, you know, a tent or something like that. But you know, it's not something that I really kind of look to or will use. And then there's actually a little bit of a pocket down here, in here as well, where my finger is pointing, but I don't really want to stretch that, and I don't really think it was intended for like everyday usage. It's probably something maybe for a keepsake, maybe a receipt of a special dinner, or maybe love letters maybe as well, or your passport or something like that. But I don't really want to use it just because I don't really want to stretch the stitching that's in here. So yeah, and then when the bag came, it came with this popper also kind of attached to it, but again, I just don't really want to push down on it too hard. If you can't tell already, I am slightly terrified of her. Like I love her so much that I'm terrified of like doing anything to her, so I'm just going to be a little bit careful about everything that I do. This is essentially the inside. It is burgundy lining, and then it is a made in France, which I think all of the medium classic flaps are nowadays, and even the jumbos I think have also been made so that they're all made in France now, which I think is amazing. And then it is a lipstick pocket in the center right here, so you can kind of put maybe a lip balm in there. I will usually use Burt's Bees. Ah, there it is. Burt's Bees. So if I just slot that in here, That is actually the very first thing I've ever put in this bag is my Burt's Bees lip balm. And then there's two like side like compartments in there, and then it's basically one rectangular hole. I hope you can see that. And then there is another kind of like smaller sleeve pocket over here, which I'm guessing you can put like some cosmetic items and stuff like that. Nothing too bulky though. And then in the back is the Mona Lisa pocket. So this is something that you can put maybe like a card in, or again some lip balm, maybe your face mask nowadays as well, like if you are so inclined. And you can, I don't really think a phone would fit. Again, because I'm terrified of her, I don't really want to slot her in, but let me just see. Okay, I think she will fit like kind of like this much up to maybe the smiley face. But because the pocket is quite tight and I would like to keep it that way, I don't really want to put that in there. But if you are okay with that, I think it would fit like kind of halfway through. So kind of like a parking spot for your phone, but not necessarily a pocket that you can kind of put your phone in for an extended period of time. This is the side view, and then this is the other side view. I am just so happy that I finally have this bag. I don't know, I feel kind of out of breath this whole day. Like it's been kind of a dream for me. I don't really even remember the first half of the day, but I had a great time picking up this bag. And maybe this is a good segue for me to start talking about the store experience. I will have to say that in terms of the process of buying the bag, it was completely seamless. It was really, really painless. It didn't take anything, to be honest. So I went to the New Bond Street store. I've been on the wait list for about a month now, and they gave me a call on Friday evening to say that the bag was ready in the store for me and that I had essentially 2 days. She called on a Friday evening at 5 p.m. and she said that I had until 5 p.m. when the store closes on the 30th of Jan, which is today, to collect the bag. And then if I don't, then it will be going to the next person in the wait list. So, you know, immediately I was kind of thinking maybe I should just drop all of my plans to go on a Saturday, but then I really wanted to just kind of think about it and be sure that, you know, this was something that I was going to go through with. Obviously the answer was yes, so I went to the store at opening at 12 p.m. to collect the bag, and essentially I just told the person who, I think there's like an usher at the beginning, at the front of the store after you get through the security guard, who lets you into the store to say what you're there for. And I said that, you know, I was there to pick up my bag. He got a bit confused because he was like, oh, do you have a bag for repair? And I was like, oh, sorry, I haven't even bought the bag yet, but I'm here to pick up the bag that I got a call for. And he was like, okay. And then he just led me into the main room in the store, and the experience wasn't like I was pampered because I was making a luxury purchase. I wasn't really like being treated any differently. Like I was really there, like as far as I felt at least, was that I was there to make a transaction. But that was kind of okay for me, because to be honest, and I feel like maybe this is a bit of a controversial thing, because I know that, you know, luxury, like the experience of being in the store, being treated like, you know, a really important person, like all of that. But I just really wanted the product. Like as long as you gave me the product and the product was good and the packaging was good and like all of that was good, I didn't really like necessarily cared about the person who was selling me the bag, if that makes sense. Like I hope that kind of makes sense. Like he was 110% completely courteous. He just wasn't really like, you know, asking me how my day was, blah blah blah, like none of that. Like he was just like, okay, can you wait here? And then he came back like 10 minutes later with the bag, and then he let me inspect it. He let me really take my time. He literally just stood there and didn't really say anything, and then I was there like looking at every single stitch and I was like, okay, great. And then he was like, amazing, okay. I was free to kind of roam around the store and have a look and stuff, which I really appreciated. Sometimes I feel like, you know, the sales associates that do mean well, but like for me, with someone, I am quite like on the nervous side, like when I'm shopping for luxury. Like if I'm being spoken to a lot and like a lot of attention is drawn to me, I will feel a little bit nervous, because I will feel like, and this is through no fault of the sales associate's own, but like I would just kind of feel like I'm letting them down because I don't know if I'm like ready to purchase yet, you know what I mean? So like I was kind of glad that I was kind of left to my own devices, if you will. So then I was kind of roaming around the store, and then it was all ready to pay for. So then he was like, okay, would you follow me? And you know, it's all very kind of like Chanel-esque kind of madame, like calling me ma'am and madame and stuff like that, which I'm not very used to. And then he guided me into a separate room, so the cashier's room, which looked kind of like a bedroom. Like my boyfriend, my partner Rory, was there as well with me, and then we were looking at pictures afterwards because it left us for a while, and we said that it kind of felt like a bedroom. Like it felt really cozy, it felt really kind of natural, that like you wouldn't realize that you're spending £6,000 on a bag. That like, yeah, it was just kind of surreal. So the paying process was really painless. Like I, again, like as a person who feels a little bit anxious around these situations, like I overthink things, like is my card going to be declined, is my passport going to be okay, like things like that. Like I just worry about things, but it was completely seamless, it was completely calm. Like it was really calm, like to the point where I just felt like, yeah, this is so natural and normal that like I'm spending basically a house down payment for a bag. But then afterward, this bag, I'll show you now actually, is a serial number bag. So instead of the serial card, you can see here this gold plate is a serial number. So it is basically a QR code situation. And whilst I was paying, the original sales associate came out with the bag. So it was already all wrapped up. Like I inspected the bag and everything, and then he just took it to the bag and wrapped it up to a really beautiful state. That is literally all I could ask for. The packaging, I could not be happier about it. Like it looked amazing. It had all the bells and whistles that I was hoping for. It has the camellia that I'm going to keep forever, things like that. So then after I made the purchase, and he gave the bag whilst I was paying, and then kind of like left the cashier guy a note, and the cashier person was really nice as well. Like he was just kind of like, have you been kind of walked through our new warranty program? Chanel now has a 5-year warranty on their bags, and I believe it's this bag or just all of their bags. I don't really know, I didn't really ask. Definitely for the timeless classic flaps, they will have a 5-year warranty, which I think is great and semi what it should have always been, but you know, it's great that they're doing it now. So it covers everything except for the leather. So Rory, my boyfriend, said something hilarious. He was like, but the whole bag is made of leather, so what else are they covering if they're covering for 5 years? But what they are covering is the hardware, the stitching, basically the general overall quality of the bag. Obviously, if there's a fault, they're going to take care of it. But then, you know, if there's something wrong with the links, the chains, the stitching popping, things like that, that's not going to be a hassle. They will cover that within the 5-year warranty. And I also did ask about the spa. So should, you know, in 5 years or after 5 years time, it looks a bit like worn, or the leather looks a little bit dry or tired, for £555, you can send it off to a spa. And the spa means a complete restoration of the bag. So they will give the leather a treatment and then replace all the hardware, I think is what he said. Or at least give it a really good polish. Basically, it just kind of like revitalizes the bag is what he said. Revitalizes the bag. So for £555 in 5 years time, probably that's going to increase. But if that's what you wanted, at least you have the guarantee of that being okay to happen. And then after we went through that kind of information bit, he asked me if the bag was for myself or it was a gift. Obviously it was for me, so I said it was for myself. And then he was like, okay, then let's register the QR code. So this is definitely the serial number situation in the gold plaque that I was telling you about just now. And we registered my bag to me, to my name. I created an account in Chanel, and it was really sweet actually. It was kind of like when you get a new laptop and when it goes like welcome, and then in that page it said welcome to the beginning of your journey with the Chanel bag, and that made me like really happy. I was just really excited to, you know, get that kind of welcome message. And then I registered, you know, I think it was under my name, and then you had to enter your email address and then also your phone number. And the email address, he said, takes about 1 business day for it to register, and then you will get, as a customer or the owner of the bag, you will get an email into your inbox with all of the details of the bag inside, and also care instructions, basically a confirmation of your account registration with Chanel and this bag itself. And the really cool thing is actually when I scanned the QR code and entered in the serial number, which is on the receipt booklet, there was a picture of the bag that's shot up. So it basically was like, this is the bag that is matching this serial number. So that was really cool, and definitely I think the right step in terms of authentication and everything. Like I feel like I felt quite safe knowing that this was exactly like what the serial number represented. It was this bag. So like that experience made me really happy essentially. So on to why I purchased this bag and why I love this bag. Basically, the rationale behind why I bought it. I have not always been a Chanel fan. I didn't really know what was so special about this brand. Like, a lot of the people that I would see around with Chanel bags were also a little bit older than I was, and I just didn't foresee like Chanel, especially in this style of a bag, was going to be my cup of tea for at least quite a little bit older. But then I just always was a little bit enamored by the brand. Like, it was something that I was quite intrigued by. It was something that I kind of wanted to do more research on. I wanted to see essentially what the hype was about. Like, this bag was completely a word of mouth situation. Like, I wouldn't have really gotten into Chanel if I didn't see other people loving it so much, and that's why social proof is so powerful. I just was confused as to why it was so popular. So then I did research on my own, and obviously once you do research of your own, you get a little bit more invested in the brand and the products and, you know, the history and everything. So I got more and more invested, but then I was convinced that I wanted a vintage one, or I wanted one that didn't have the quilts. I wanted one that was a little bit different, a little bit edgy, a little bit like this and that. But then my eye, I figured after a few years, was always drawn to this bag when I saw it like in real life. So if anybody else was wearing it and people were just walking around with the bag, like, I would always just go at it. And you know, I didn't really think much of it at first, but then I kind of realized with time that, like, you know what, this is probably a sign that you like the bag. So like, as much as I was like trying to convince myself to be like, oh, I want the chevron pattern because it's different, I want the boy bag because it was different, I want this and that because it's different, like, there's probably a reason why this is so popular. I embraced it after like 3 years, but then after the 3 years, this shot up in price. And then that was also around the same time where I started to get quite distracted with like a lot of different bags because instant gratification. But like, in the back of my head, I was always still kind of thinking about this one. The style of bags that I love a flat bag, as you can see from my Passy bag, which I spoke about in my last video. And then I also love a back pocket. I know that I'm kind of terrified of this back pocket, so I'm not really going to use it for now, but I do think a back pocket is kind of integral to how useful a bag is. And just essentially the style of the bag, because it's so timeless, that like, this is something that I will have for the rest of my life. Like, this is something that I really did foresee as like a forever bag for me, like something that I will carry throughout my life, throughout special occasions throughout my life. That's kind of how like I romanticized it, you know, maybe for an engagement party, for wedding guests, or even my own wedding. Everything that's really, really special, I really want this bag to be there next to me. And I know that this is like super sentimental, but like over the years, I feel like this has kind of morphed into the kind of narrative that I was thinking for this bag, and this was the fate that this bag was going to have, is that this was going to be my special bag, and this was going to be my special everything bag, and everything that is special to me, I'm going to have this bag next to. And the more I romanticize that idea, the more I wanted the bag. Anyway, that was everything. I hope this video was helpful and it kind of explained the new process, my thoughts about the bag, why I bought the bag. I am hoping to kind of wear it out. Tonight I actually have a afternoon tea with my friend. We've booked this 6 months in advance and then we both forgot about it, but we're both going. So I think I will take this out for an initial spin and report back to you in a few months' time of how it's wearing, how I'm finding it. In the meantime, I hope you found this video at least a little bit helpful or just entertaining, maybe just to see me kind of like lose my mind. But yeah, I'm gonna literally cherish this forever. I just can't believe it's here. I can't stop staring at her. I will speak to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.